better to say, typically you've got 15 minutes per quarter with the board, right? And I'm lucky enough that I grabbed our VC and
Hello. Welcome back.
an extra half hour.
This is the second part of the interview
But
and the Mentoring
you're going to have
Monday
so many things you want to communicate in
with
such a
Greg
small
van de
amount of
Gaast.
time. And you just
We're going to
have
keep
to
on
do that.
talking with
If
how
you
to interact
work
with
really
boards,
hard, they will
the
hear
challenge that we
about
face in our
your
industry,
success.
how to deal with
Even if it's
people,
just
and
a
how to
honorable
get
mention
things
once a
done,
month or
as we
something,
explore
and
in the
it pops
first
up in
part.
conversation.
So please stay
That's all you
tuned,
need.
follow us on
And
YouTube
you have to condense. You're way
and
better
other
off
social media,
understating and being very modest
Twitter,
as to what you're doing
LinkedIn,
than being hyperactive and
and
screaming.
leave us a comment if you like it,
Which is
if you
what I think
don't
a lot
like
of
it, what
security
you would
people
like to see in the next
very
one,
very
who would you like
alarmist,
to
and
see.
it's the boy crying
I
wolf
hope you
thing.
enjoy.
He loses credibility.
Thank you. So we're not terrifying anymore the boards, but between that and making them aware, which option would you prefer? So as you said, you dropped the ball, you were there, you just say we just saw one of the many issue, and you cannot just make them aware, but between that and being scaremongers,
There's no point in scaring them. They don't want to be scared. They want to know that we have issues, yes or no. Are you fixing them, yes or no? That's all they care about.
mm-hmm.
You know, when people say the board doesn't care about risk, they're like, that's their job. That is an absolutely ridiculous statement to say the board doesn't care about risk. And then they rant and rave, and they throw all these technical terms and stuff, and I need this much money for that. It's that you're communicating so poorly that the board is actually doing its job when they're saying no to you. Their job is also, there's a due diligence component to their job. And you've basically just demonstrated to them that you are unable to understand and communicate the business to them. So why should we give you £1 million to supposedly secure a business you don't understand?
So shall we up the communication game of cybersecurity people? Shall we stop doing technical stuff and doing more communication and stressing that as a theme?
I think it's a pyramid. You got to do your foundations first, and the tech is more towards the top of that pyramid. The communication is absolutely essential to do the basic stuff, to create that foundation, a program, to get the support, to get the budget you need. But when I say budget you need, budget you truly need. Yeah, I think it's very important. And even the technical basics, the stuff like provisioning clean systems, getting the right configurations pushed out, hardened, doing your patching. These are all really easy technical things that don't have a big cost associated to them tooling wise. But
quick win.
No one does. Yeah, but no one does them properly. Everyone says, yeah, we do patching. Yeah, we do provisioning. Yeah, we do configuration. And then you look at the actual systems across the estate, and they are crap. And there's like 10% of the IT that they're not even aware of. And those individual basics are really, really easy to do. The challenge is to do them holistically across the entire enterprise. And you will not be able to do that until you have communication and collaboration established with the stakeholders to actually discover what's going on about your business. And that's when security becomes a fantastic business enabler and business discovery tool, because you actually have to assemble the complete picture of the organization to do your job. And you'll actually find out about all kinds of business processes in different departments and synergies that have nothing to do with security that you can then report back to the business. Like, by the way, did you know that HR is doing this and marketing is doing that, and they could use the same system, but we're using two separate things. You get all these extra benefits that you can then contribute back to the business.
I like the business security investigation as business discovery. It's like, you had this line of business that you weren't aware of.
Because you have to figure out how things work if you are to build. If you do not interface with the people, you don't understand the business processes, and you cannot build security around those processes. Otherwise, if you don't look at them, I mean, you've got 10,000 plus people, you've got hundreds of departments. They're going to solution their own stuff left and right until you build a relationship with them where they trust you to show you everything they've got, where you understand what they're actually doing, so you can ask the right questions. Like, well, you told me you're doing this, and this. What are you actually doing? Or what are you actually using to do that? And that's when they open the broom closet. It's like, well, we've got these 4 servers here. Okay. you know, and now I can go and you know what, let's start a quick project. Let's move those servers to the data center, and then we'll put the support and management wrapper, security wrapper around them. And they're like, yeah, that's fine as long as you can do it without disrupting our business. Like, you know, don't worry, we'll take care of that. So yeah, until you get involved with the people in the business, you won't even know what you're supposed to be securing. And that's why so many people fail on the basics. All these big breaches you see is like, there's a missing patch or a misconfigured HTTP server. There's always something stupid.
So why as IT we can keep on getting away with this? I mean, if you propose this to somebody that builds a bridge and builds a bridge with all these holes, the bridge will collapse. Why do we keep on?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. And I think IT is actually, you know, if you have to build a web server and a web application or whatever, and it doesn't work, the phone starts ringing. You know, you can get away with saying, you know, like IBM that charged like 10 million pounds to develop a website for some government ministry, and then it doesn't work and it falls over. They can get away with it, but most of us in IT couldn't. But that's functional because you see that something's been done wrong. You know, the bridge is a really good analogy because if the bridge falls down, you definitely know something was done wrong. If your web server keeps falling down, people know something's been done wrong. But security-wise, how do you know the security people are actually watching the logs or hardening stuff? People only feel the functional stuff. Because as long as the web server is up and running, no one knows whether you're bothering to patch it or to monitor it or you're logging or any of that. And I think that's part of why security has gotten away with being really, really sloppy.
Mm. So shall we push the industry on more visualization? I'm big in visualization, and I always push every of my organization that I work with to visualize the state of your estate, because only at that point you can operate with confidence.
I think visualize anything that helps you communicate is a really, really good thing. I'm more on the, you know, like you said, almost like the emotional side. For me, it's, you know, I just try really hard all the time, and I think people see that, and that communicates confidence, and then they listen when you have to say something. But if you want to communicate more on the technical level, and that would be a good, one of the things I struggle with because of that approach is metrics. But, you know, unfortunately the buy-in is so good that I'm not really, you know, give me a 1 to 10 and they're happy with that, with maybe 5 minutes of context. But
and that's absolutely fine. I think the important is like we're all different, as we were discussing. It's like the approach doesn't matter; it's the result that does matter.
Exactly. And you may be dealing with a CIO or a COO who really wants, you know, a graphical illustration. In that case, you have to put more effort into that. I think.
But it's your emotional intelligence that kicks in at that time, and understand the situation and the context awareness, so that you deliver exactly what the other person wants, and you know what button to press. But that goes back to the communication aspect, to dealing with human that we don't seem to have, and maybe social engineering will help us in that.
All right. And it's I hear like people hacking and you know, communication tactics and this and that, and I'm like, I just call it care. Like, I think if you just care, because I don't like how, you know, people hacking sounds very manipulative to me. It's like, oh, how to get people to do what you want. Like, just be really nice to them. I'll be nice to you back. It's really that simple. And the analogy as I give is like when you're trying to merge into traffic and like two people are fighting for the position. If you just wave at the other person and say, oh, go on in, please. They're all surprised and they smile at you and they wave, oh, thank you. And then if you know, 200 meters down the road, you have to now get into that lane, and it's that person right there, and you're like, sorry, can I get back in this lane? They'll be like, yeah, sure, come on in. They'll be happy to help you back, you know? And why have that negativity where you're both angry and fighting and nothing gets done? You both have a positive experience. I mean, you let someone in and they let you in afterwards. So nothing was lost or nothing was gained, but you're both left with a positive experience that makes you want to repeat that and to work together, as opposed to fighting against each other all the time, which is what we do in IT, and especially in security. There's so much negativity and blame culture.
And maybe we're too defensive. We're coming from a perspective when we had to defend our position constantly because people didn't believe or didn't realize. But now I think we are in a very different situation where people are start listening to us, and then we don't know what to say other than angry rant.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, again, it's been more than 2 decades. So I can't even remember how things were when I started. But yeah, just I feel like people have a general awareness about security now. They know it matters, and a lot of times they're making mistakes, but they're genuine mistakes. They don't realize that they're doing something insecure. So it's, but they are aware of security, so it's much easier to guide them and to redirect them. But
No, I
not,
love the statement. I love the statement and stopping witch hunt whenever an incident happened. I don't know if you had the pleasure or the displeasure to deal with an incident, but whenever an incident happened, there is a lot of emotional response and trying to calm the folks down and trying to have a rational discussion of, okay, let's understand the problem rather than let's put somebody at the stake. It's
yeah.
really hard because we need to reckon that we are all human beings.
Yeah, exactly. I think what the guys see is, uh, the user is the weakest link in the chain. Blah blah blah. I just don't feel that way. I feel like they're doing their job. We're supposed to do our job. They are a link in the chain. I think they're the first link in the chain if you look at it, and they're also in many ways the new perimeter. People get to them via phishing attacks and that kind of stuff. But when you see big breaches, and when absolutely everything got compromised, and it's because Dave in marketing clicked on a phishing email, and then there was a massive breach, and the whole data center is compromised, and then millions of customer records are gone. And it's like, oh, it's Dave's fault. Like, well, Dave clicked on a link, and he gave his credentials to somebody, which would have been completely useless had you enabled MFA, but you didn't. And then the attacker got local access as Dave on his laptop, and he was able to privilege escalate himself to admin because you didn't harden Dave's image. And then Dave, from there, you managed to scan your network, install tools on Dave's machine, compromise your gateway because you didn't secure it, get through your firewall because your rules were crap, compromise your routers because they had default passwords, and then go through your entire data center because every single one of your 500 servers is missing 18 months worth of critical patches. But we blame Dave. Like, sorry, security people, but what the hell were you doing?
It's easy to blame rather than to actually go back and trying to understand whose fault is.
Yeah. And then people are like, I have this rule now. It's like the root cause or the frustration rule. It's like, if I get frustrated trying to do something, it's because I am doing something wrong. I'm either like, there's a root cause to this that's causing me this frustration. So whatever I'm trying to do, I put it aside and I go work on what's the cause here. Like, I'm trying to get something patched, and I can't get the IT guys to patch it, and I'm hammering at the IT guys. I'm like, come on, guys! Like, it's been 3 weeks that I've been asking to patch the server, blah blah blah, and it's just not working. So let me stop that. Go see them. It's like, what exactly is it that makes it so difficult for you guys to patch a server, and how can I help you make that easier for you, or how can I offload that from you, or can I build a business case to get you better tools? Can I provide some resource to you? What can I do? Instead of just complaining that, the IT guys aren't doing it. But there's always a reason for it. And if you have that kind of root cause thinking, that proactive, what's behind this kind of thinking, very few people have that. So just go and sit with the other people and apply that thinking for them out of their situation. Because if you help them do their job, they can then help you meet your objectives. So whenever you get frustrated, it's because you're not addressing the root cause, you're not addressing it the right way. And sometimes it's your own fault, and that's fine. Like, just park your ego for a second and learn, learn from it. And then you manage to beat that challenge. And then you can put your ego back on and, feel like a badass on your way home because you finally got the job done.
Sure. So if I ask you to comment one of the news of the week, I think the Capital One breach has has gone forward. The InfoSec drama again there was strong. I think Page has been indicted for a couple of things. So what do you think about the whole story about Capital One, without mentioning what's happened there?
I think it was, what was it? Just an S3 container. It was just a well, she basically had access to stuff she wasn't supposed to. And it was, well, first of all, it was a very strange person. But she was a very strange lady. But again, we're back to fundamentals. This is nothing that needed, really advanced, expensive network monitoring tools or any of that. This was basic access controls, basic, 35-year-old security concepts that should have been translated and applied to the cloud space. It's all about that engagement in everything every one of your business units and teams does. Follow their business process, follow the data flow of that process. What are they touching? How is it manipulated? What systems process it? And then make sure that every point along that chain is reasonably secure. And they obviously didn't have the correct access controls around their S3 container, and it got out, or someone got in and got the stuff out. These are basic things. It's just about applying them holistically. That's all it is. That's 99% of security. I mean, there's some really advanced threat vectors like NotPetya and stuff.
And it goes back to doing it's going back to doing the basic stuff as you said before.
Yeah, I mean the really advanced, custom state-sponsored, every time there's an attack, like sophisticated, potentially state-sponsored attacks, like, dude, there's a buffer overflow from like a 3-year-old vulnerability. It's not really sophisticated. 99.999% of the time, it's something really, really basic.
So before we close off, and I think we covered a couple of questions from the team. Do you want to give like 10 seconds positive message about cybersecurity? What's coming?
We're not all bad.
We're not all good. We're not all bad.
I think a level of care and humility is really important. I think that communication is really important. That kind of servant leadership mentality. I get praised so much for being like a security leader. Like that whole, I still feel kind of awkward receiving that title. I can have quite a bit of an ego, but at the same time, I'm fairly humble in awkward ways. No, but I think more and more people are communicating that message. I'm communicating that message. I know you just had a tiff with Kevin Fielder, but he's one of the guys communicating that message. I think you are as well. I don't know you as well, but I get that feeling. And more people are listening and they're open-minded to it. And I think it's still if there is a skills gap, it's that security leadership, it's that security engagement, it's that level of care about the organization, about people. I talk about it as much as I can, so I really appreciate the opportunity to be on the podcast.
I welcome you to come again and discuss some more about. We can touch base about open opinion and other stuff, and look at retrospective what's happening. I don't wanna comment on.
Yeah.
But Greg, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast and sharing. And this is gonna be loaded in a couple of weeks. And just 10 seconds of silence, and then.
If I may, I just want to say it's a very small minority that has this way of thinking, but people are interested, and it's growing, and it's growing, I think, fairly quickly. So I'm hoping in a few years we're going to be in a much, much better place.
I'm sure we are, and we're going to have new problem that appears. Anyway, thank you very much, Greg. Thank you everybody for listening to this, and I'll see you in 2 or 3 weeks with a new episode. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, and everyone.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We had a nice conversation with Greg about diversity CISO. And we're going to have another episode coming up in a couple of weeks' time with Alan Alford, another CISO talk. We're going to talk about gaming and leadership in gamings and in guilds. How to fill the skill gap, how to be a mentor, the blueprint for a mentor. So please follow us on our social media platform, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter. And I hope you enjoy and this was informative. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you. Goodbye.